Hello Sagittarius, welcome back to my channel, The Vibes Inside. I am Mariana and I am preparing here for your reading. So I am a bit excited about your reading because I just have this feeling of like this is gonna be fun, or let's have some fun. Let's just party up, or let's see where this goes, but let's have fun with it, right? Something like that. So I feel like for whom I'm reading for, Sagittarius, it's like you're on this maybe a new adventure or something. You are quite adventurous. You like adventures, I think. Sagittarius, what I know about Sagittarius, I say you are the truth speaker, but you also you like adventure. You like new things, seeing new things, enjoying new stuff, maybe new people, maybe an encounter in some way. Could be fun. I get more like, you can meet someone and this can be interesting or funny, or it can be boring, when you meet someone new. This feels like this could be funny, or let's have some fun. Let's have some fun, or the fun is just starting, or something like that. So what do we want to have here? I get almost a feeling like I'm supposed just to read what I have here. It's like this is like an unknown, or I feel like I'm going to take a card later here. Okay, let's have a look. So I have this one in the center here. Trust your innocence. So again, I get this this feeling of let's have fun, right? The innocence is usually a childlike feeling, like an inspiration to do something, an initiative to do something or be something. I see her like this could be dressing up, like putting on fancy clothes, walking around like you were some kind of princess, or like children can play in ways. There is a purity to it, like it's like it's just for fun. It's to ease the load. It's to have a more easy going, I feel like, and trust where that is going to take you. Like if, let's say, you feel like you just want to dance, well then get up and dance in your living room, or like you start laughing for some reason, and or maybe even without any reason. Just go along with it, I feel like. Just let it come out. If you want to be goofy or silly or something, I think you should just go along with it. Like trust that inspiration in some way. Even if it feels, or it may not look very mature or something, I think you should do it anyway. And then I still have this feeling, and let's have fun with it. Like I recently have looked into this idea of laughing. Like when we laugh, laugh can actually be a really restorative thing for the body. It can heal many things actually, and it can change your something changes in the body, and even if you are if it is a false laughter. So even false laughter can bring forth, or it, and that can be the strange thing about some of this. Doing something goofy or silly, or laughing, even if it's like laughing, for instance, is usually we understand laughing as that we laugh because of something. Because something happened, because someone is funny, as a comedian or something, they say something and I laugh because of it. So I laugh of something that's something people are doing or saying or something. I can laugh because of them. I can laugh of them. Like they do something embarrassing maybe. I laugh because of it. But maybe I should... But there's usually someone else involved, right? That something happens, they say something, you can do something, of course. You can laugh of yourself. Maybe you're doing something silly, and you actually see that it's silly, and then you start laughing because it's just too like. But usually there must be a reason for laughing. But so what I have learned about laughter and laughter yoga, for instance, is that the body doesn't distinguish between real or false laughter. The benefits of laughter are still there, as if it were real laughter. And so we can make pretend laughing as a healing mechanism. We can train our laughter muscles and laugh of things, or just laugh without any cause. And that sounds strange, but if we just go along with that, it's like it's a pretense until it's not. Like that's what they are saying, these laughter yoga teachers. They say that, well, it may start out as a like you feel like it's false and it's pretense. But then it's like your body gets used to it. It feels more okay. It feels more maybe good in the body, so it's allowing it. It's easier. I don't know if it works. I'm just saying. You could try it out. You could look it up. Laughter yoga. See if you can find some videos. It doesn't have to be. It's just something that children do, right? They are silly and goofy. They make pretense. They pretend they are Superman, or they pretend that they are, well, a fierce firefighter, or like pretending for children is not really pretending. Like it's when they pretend to be Superman, they are Superman. Like they take on this clothes. If they have a costume, they take it on and then they become it. They run around the house, and they are fighting things and so on, but it's like Superman is actually there. So it's not Christopher playing, no, now we have Superman in the house, right? That is how it feels inside of him. And this, I feel like, is a bit the same. Like if you, as I said, I see her a bit like she's dressing up, like she has put on certain clothes here. And then she pretends to be, I don't know, an angel, maybe. She pretends to be a princess, or she pretends to be a what is that? Well, it could be anything. But pretending being something, she could pretend being a flower here, right? There are these flowers, the way she stands with her hand. She could pretend being a fairy, right? And when she puts on this clothes, something can happen when you do that. Sometimes you become more brave. Sometimes you allow yourself to say other things. Sometimes you make gestures, with your hands or movements or something, because now you are a ballet dancer, right? And because you are a ballet dancer, now you are moving your body and everything in a particular way. And for an adult, we would say this is a pretense, because it's just Anna. Anna is playing that she's this ballet dancer, or she's a flower. But we know she is a human girl, right? She's not a flower, but she's still pretending to be one. Or a fairy, right? Fairy have magical abilities. They can swing their wand and they can, spread gold dust, magical gold dust, and poof, something is now magically coming forward. So, there could be something about, I want to say, an innocent pretense, perhaps. As I said with the laughter, like this is actually scientifically proof that if you start laughing, it's supposed to, it triggers the same thing in the body, no matter whether it's a false laugh or what we call a real one, a real laugh. We can laugh at others, of others, because of others. We can laugh because it's embarrassing, or it's awkward, or it's too much, or something. But what if we are laughing for us, like for ourselves? So the laughing can be like any other kind of exercise, running, fitness training, whatever you want to call it, swimming. Laughing can be just like that. We're doing it because it's an exercise that is helping us to feel better, or to even feel more in shape. One of these laughing coaches, she said that the silent laugh activates the abdomen in the same way as making sit-ups. Sit-ups, I guess it's called. Because the silent laugh is activating primarily this center and not so much the lungs. That would be something like, like a more of a giggling. With a closed mouth. You can feel it here, right? A closed mouth, like you're not supposed to be heard. Like you sit in a classroom, right? And you have this thing that you're trying to keep it a bit under lock. That's the silent laugh. So you're not laughing out loud like that. With an open mouth, you're keeping it a bit in. It's still a pretense. Like I didn't have anything to laugh from or of or because of. I'm just doing it anyway. And it activates here. And this is, she says, it may not be quite the same as sit-ups, but it does activate the abdominal muscles. Because it attracts in a very like quick way like that. So this was just a mention of something you could say like laughter, right? That and laughter is childlike. Laughter is something that is sometimes very spontaneous and playful, and I think that you can train yourself to that point. I don't know, but I think you could. But I want to say it could be anything where you are with maybe a bit of a childlike pretense doing something here. And then I have this feeling as I sat down, it's like, okay, just let's see if we can have some fun with this. Let's try this out and see if we can have some fun with this. So it could be anything. You could imagine that you are, a heroine riding off to the sun towards the sunshine or the sunset, on your favorite black horse, and you're this fierce heroine, anything. You can imagine anything here. That would be also like a bit of an inner adventure. It could be outer. Let's say you put on like very special clothes here and you walk down the street. You're pretending, or you are embodying for a short period of time something that is not normally you, but you're doing it anyway. Just for the fun of it. And that's what I feel like. It's just for the fun of it. For the fun of it, I'm wearing these clown shoes, just for the fun of it, just for the fun of trying, like to wear these big clown shoes here. Just for the fun of it, I go to a costume store and I'm playing with the mustaches or, odd plastic glasses or, and having fun with it. It's also about seeing yourself as it. Like if you can watch yourself in the mirror having this dress on, you could do it. Like for some reason, I now get an image of, someone who is, she's going into a bridal shop, and even though she has no boyfriend, she could be trying on different kinds of, bridal dresses while she's speaking to this salesperson about her husband or her soon-to-be husband. So she's embodying a persona that is not real in her life, but she's trying it on, you could say. She's trying it on, what it would feel like to know that you have this husband and you are about to get married. Does that make sense? Like a pretense to learn more about something else. So to know something about, let's say, Superman, well, I can watch his movies, but I could also try to embody it. Like I could put on this suit, and then I can play with it. I can here I come, right? I fly I pretend that I'm flying, but if I'm choosing not to say that I'm pretending, that I'm actually flying, that's what I'm saying to myself. I fly now as Superman. I embody this to try this on. I try this role or this persona on. And having fun with it. Like, what does it teach me? What am I learning? How does it make me feel? So this could be the feeling of like trying new fashion styles on to figure out how it makes you feel, right? Very elegant, very business-like. It could be hip-hop clothes, Well, how does it make you feel? It's like you can have this feeling of almost like changing on the inside because of what you're wearing. You could try on different wigs here. Long hair, 60 braces, or hippie outfit, whatever it is. I get almost a feeling of someone in a costume shop. Someone in a costume shop trying on masks and, different kinds of shoes. It could be anything. Like, if not a costume shop, then maybe different fashion shops. But they are stylish, very different, hats, trying on different kinds, big, extravagant, like royal hats, right? Down to a cap, a normal, worn-out cap, How does it make you feel when you put this on? You can, for a moment, transform yourself into another one, a different identity almost, or persona. That's what I feel like. And this is what children do. It's like they try on different suits, Which one am I, or how do I what is most comfortable for me? Or what kind of game am I playing the most? Like maybe I like playing Superman the most. I also have Batman, or I have other superhero costumes, but it seems like I'm favoring one. It seems like I'm primarily identifying with this one. This one I like the most, right? That could be what you are figuring out. Someone in a costume shop trying to figure out if they should let's say they wanted to create a whole new identity about themselves. So which way do I go? Like, what kind of clothes, or what kind of style, what kind of persona? Maybe you don't want to be just one. Like maybe you like this idea of, like, one day you are a farmer, the next day you are Superman, and next day you're the princess. Like maybe you don't like to be put in a box, or you don't like the idea of just having one or two. Maybe you like a variety of choices. Maybe you even like the idea of that it's non-gender. Like maybe, again, as I said, you could be one day you're the flower or the fairy. The next day you are Charlie Chaplin with the little mustache and like his penguin way of moving, and his little hat, So it could be female and it could be like male or feminine and masculine, and you're trying on perhaps different versions of them to figure out which one am I, or I actually don't want to fit into one, so let's just have a little fun with this. Also, because if you do this, people around you usually act like they react to it. So, like children, like when mom sees that Christopher is now embodying Superman, sometimes she will say that, "Oh, I see Superman is in the house now. Is Superman hungry? Would Superman like a glass of, milk or a cookie?" And then he grabs the cookie and then he's off, right? Sometimes people go along with it, like they accept it. At least for a while, they accept that you are trying on this coat or you're trying on this trying on I hear bodysuit. I don't know, but trying on a costume or something. And how does that make you feel? Do you like it? Do you feel like it's off? For instance, let's say you are someone who normally, let's say you are a carpenter. But in this costume shop, you try on like a very elegant business suit with a top hat or like what is that called? Like black and white, like smoking or something. You're trying on a smoking. And when you look at yourself in the mirror, if you should see yourself as such a person who wears this every day, sometimes it can actually be a bit like, no, this is not me. It's too far away from me. Like it's too far away from who I normally identify as. And it could be exactly the same if a businessman who normally wears these high-end business suits or smoking, and he goes to gala dinners and all that kind of stuff, he's used to this kind, and you ask him to put on like a carpenter outfit. Like he could react in exactly the same way. Like this feels like it's too far. I don't even know how to be a carpenter. Right? I don't even know what to do here. It feels too far away or out of alignment with what I normally identify with. But it doesn't mean that it's not, possible perhaps. Especially if you are trying to, let's say you want to change your circumstances. Yes, you will probably feel that it's strange it's the same thing when you struggle to pay your bills. And if you start saying a manifestation like, I am a millionaire. Like you're working with affirmations. If you've ever tried that. So you're adapting maybe a new process in your life which you have never done before. Working with affirmations in first tense, like I am something, or I have something. I am a millionaire. Saying that, it's a bit like the laughter. It may feel, yeah, but I'm not a millionaire. I barely can pay my bills. I'm not a millionaire. So it feels like it's too far away from you, like it's out of alignment with you. But it doesn't mean that. It's like the more you say it, like it doesn't feel that far away. It becomes more normal that you could say that you are a millionaire. Sometimes I want to say it's not just coming to you, right? You probably need to take some kind of action to eventually go towards the goal that you're looking for. But it's a bit like the laughter. When you do it the first time, it feels like really false laughter perhaps, and it just feels off, like that is not, it's not real, or it's not authentic, or it doesn't feel. And this round of readings, I feel like I'm talking very much integrity, autonomy, this is me, I know who I am, I own everything about this. And now I have a reading like this coming in. A reading that says, try out a new suit. See how it makes you feel. Let's play around with this. Let's try different kinds. Let's see what fits. Or let's see where you feel like this could be a fun thing to try. Like this could be a fun thing to, like what if I would be a flower here? I'm buying this outfit and then I walk down the street and I'll see if people will see me as a flower. Maybe people will comment on it. It could be a new makeup, a very special one, right? But it's like trying on something new, even though it's maybe not what you feel aligned with. I feel like this also speaks very much to people who come from circumstances that have been very terrible, like abusive homes and things like that. If you are not trying new, like if you're not going along with new, you will repeat and get some of the same again and again. You will stand in front of people that give you the same. So I think this is also something about, like, if I know I come from an abusive child home, I have been in different relationships, and these relationships have turned out almost the same. Like it ended up being the same kind of turmoil and stress. Then maybe I should try something new. And if I try something new on, as I say, it may feel uncomfortable, or it may feel like this is not me, but it doesn't mean that it couldn't be you or become you, or that you couldn't be it, right? If you want to become it, then you may need to make some changes for you to align with it, and that could be it. Then your circumstances may be new, and you will meet probably new people. But if you become aware of the dynamics in those relationships, why is it that it seems like you end up with the same kind of people, with the same kind of turmoil, with the same kind of stress? Then something is off. If you want to change those circumstances, you have to figure out why you are there. We tend to do what is familiar. We tend to find like company with people that are familiar in some way, but not necessarily in a good way. Like it's just familiar. Somehow we're used to it. We know what it is, so it feels familiar. But it doesn't mean that it's good for us, or it's safe for us, or nurturing, or it could be quite toxic, but still familiar. If you realize that, you will probably find yourself asking what to do about it. And I would say, try on a new suit. do something else, present in a different way, show up differently, see what happens, say something else, trust maybe your like childlike, like a thought that comes randomly just out of the blue, and you want to go towards something, or you want to say something, or you want to show up and just, sing something or dance something, or and try it on. If you are a very shy person, you could end up, there could be a reason why you're shy. Like you could have been, like from your childhood and forward, there could be a reason why you ended up becoming shy. So and you end up with either without people because you are too shy to engage, or the people that come towards you, it's just repeating the same things as you experienced when you were younger. So if you want to break out of that, you sometimes have to challenge maybe that shyness, right? You may need to challenge that shyness, try on another suit or another costume. It could be quite interesting, right? To see what was it? Wasn't it? I think it was Jim Carrey. He made this film called The Mask, this green mask. And it was like when he put that green mask on, his entire persona changed. He became utterly confident, like too confident, maybe too, like he was very expressive and very like direct and honest, and he would never, and it was maybe too much, like he could actually come across as quite offensive to other people. But do you see my point of it? It's like if you allow yourself to wear another hat, let's say that. I'm not fond of the mask idea, but wear another hat and see what happens. How does it make you feel? Do you feel differently? It could be as simple as, let's say you have never long red nails, but what if you did? And a red lipstick, What if you did? And you now started to do this every day at work, and normally you haven't done that. How would it make you feel? How would it change? And I feel like there's something about this playing around with some of this. Playing around with it, testing it, seeing how it makes you feel. And there could be these steps to aligning. If we want something new in our lives, there can be steps towards it. Like maybe the red long nails doesn't feel right, but if you just had long nails and it was more of a invisible polish, it would be okay. And then over time, maybe you put on like a slight rosa one, and then eventually it becomes maybe, pink, or it becomes orange, and then you go full in with the red nails, right? And maybe a dress that matches, and your lipstick and so on. So now you have like the full expression of something. You may start out with smaller, and then because then you adapt to it. Now, then it's not foreign anymore. Now you have kind of adapted to this bit of something. And then you put another puzzle piece in, and you adapt to that as well. And then it's not that foreign or, far away anymore. You're adapting slowly and surely to something. And eventually you put that dress on and you'll see, okay, what happens if I go to work with my pink nails here and I see what happens. But and eventually maybe you stand here in like this full outfit. You've actually made a transformation, right? You've made and you don't feel off with it, right? It doesn't feel bad. It doesn't feel like you are far away from it. It doesn't feel like it's this far away dream. Now you are it, like you are this, whatever that is here. I feel like, again, like a child in this costume shop, right? Trying all kinds, an Indian, a cowboy, with the revolvers, and a pilot in like a stealth plane, firefighter plane, or like a ninja or something, trying all these kinds of costumes to figure out like what am I, or who am I, or what would I like to be, like what would I like to become or align with, right? And I just have this feeling of let's just have fun with this. Let's try this out and see what it's like. Let's have the bottom of the deck for this as well. Okay, so I get stepping through here as a driver card. So this is typically something that happens before this. So this is a process that drives you to this. So it could be like you have been going through something here. It says stepping through. Stepping through can be anything. This can be, it could be something like you are, like the first thing that comes to mind here is something like stepping through realms, entering different dreams or different visions, or hopes or wishes, right? Stepping through can be this idea that every time you take on a new costume, it's like you step into a new reality. Like, so from being a mermaid to becoming a cowboy, the stepping through is every time I shift the costume, it's like I'm new. Now it's a new world. Like if I'm a mermaid, I probably am in the water, interacting with things and fishes and whatever, Poseidon and what, I interact in that environment. I'm there. I learn something here. I'm, tapping into what is this like? How do I feel? What do I look like? How does the water feel? Things like that. I can play in the water. I can have mermaid friends, Then I become a cowboy. So now I'm in this dusty village. And you can hear this music, cowboy music, right? There are horses, it's dry, there are ranches, there's this pub, where everything becomes silent when you enter the doors, right? People have to look at you. They quietly touch their revolvers. They're ready to shoot if necessary, because they're figuring out whether you are dangerous or not. So suddenly from being a mermaid here, you are now you're in a different environment, learning something new, or you can interact in a different way. You can be this sheriff, cowboy hero, right? Fighting for something. So you can have different experiences here, right? And every time you step through, every time you change your clothes into something new, you can have a new experience, like an adventure, a new experience like that. So stepping through here, well, this could be a shift in career, that you are advancing maybe, or the other way around, that you step from maybe a business life, into, now it says innocence, well, maybe working with children. That would be like two very different scenarios, from a corporate business life to like working with children, right? So in one scenario, you look in a certain way, you behave in a certain way, you have certain experiences here, and then you change your job and suddenly it's very different. You may dress differently, things are differently required of you, there are children everywhere, and you are needing to have your attention on some of this. So the stepping through can be anything here for you, right? Just take it how it resonates. But it seems like there is a process here, whether it's just is shifting your clothes. You probably know it also, that if you have a corporate life and you live in high heels and business suits every day, when you come home and you take these high heels off, just walking on your heels again, normally, changes everything. You put on maybe your, like a jogging suit or something. You put on something comfortable. Then it's like you shift, like maybe you relax more, right? That is a shift too here, like going from something to something else, stepping or choosing to go from one step to another, as I also said, like that something is not as foreign. Like you start with one step, and then you step again, you take another step, and then you take another, and you take another, and you take another, and then you come to here, right? That is the stepping through, that you're shifting from like different awarenesses or consciousness stage or something, and then you get to here. Whatever this is, whatever suit you're trying on here, whatever. I don't know exactly, but I said before something about trying on a new bodysuit. And that kind of makes me think that I'm thinking about Aaron Doughty. I don't know if you know him, but he's on YouTube as well. He talks about that that being here is that we are not really us. Like we are an incarnated soul who has a human experience here. So an incarnated soul drops into a human experience and is trying it out. That is kind of what I feel like. And then it's like, okay, let's have some fun with it, because the soul is supposed to be immortal. It cannot really die. It's just collecting knowledge and experiences. It's on an adventure here. So I get almost a feeling of that I'm talking to a soul, or I'm hearing like the voice of a soul that just says, okay, let's try this out. I drop into this bodysuit. Okay, I have this experience as the mermaid, right? Or I drop into this bodysuit. Here I am a Christopher, so I'm playing around with Superman and whatever he's doing. And then I become Anna. And then I become, so the soul, well, do you get my point? It's like shifting between different experiences. It could be that you have tried out many different jobs, something like that. And every time it's like you're learning something. You're seeing yourself being something. You're seeing yourself acting in a certain way. As a salesperson, you speak and talk and act or dress in a certain way maybe. As a business person, you may do something else. If you shift and become a kindergarten teacher, then it's suddenly something else again. So it's like having different experiences and having fun with it. It could be also something about like being a temporary employee. So you go from like different scenarios, different workplaces, and just want to have fun with it. Because you want to try many things out, and maybe you like something more than something else. Because you haven't decided, you want to just play around with it. You just want to see what happens. It could be something as simple as that, but take it how it resonates, right? So 6th chakra, Archangel Metatron here. Now I'm back to this soul thing. Like both of these, they look quite soul-like to me. Like they have a very special look to them, I think. This looks rather angelic, right? He's an archangel. 6th chakra, it's the third eye. So it feels again to me like I'm not quite sure, but it's like it feels very pure, like very pure in its essence. Like this glittery white here that is on both sides here, glittery white. Again, I feel like there's no ill will here. Like it comes in with a sense of innocence. It's just trying something out. Again, if let's say you are a temp and you're working, you are trying different workplaces. Like being a temp doesn't mean that it comes with an ill will. It just means that you prefer perhaps to not be like tied to one kind of workplace. You want different, or you work different places because you like the variety. So Monday you work in an office, Tuesday you work in a bar, Wednesday you're working with some animals somewhere, Thursday you are in the kindergarten, and so on. Like maybe you like the variety. It's not that it all comes from a purity here and an innocence where that is who you are. Like that is and then trying different things to figure out what is the right one for you perhaps, or where you feel most comfortable, or if you are trying to change circumstances in your life, trying different jobs, or as I said, costumes, or it's just for the fun of it, right? It's just to have a bit of fun or laughter, or play It's just for the playfulness. Or it's, you know, just to take a bit of seriousness out of your life. To allow in some of this here. To allow in some of this could take a sense of seriousness out of your life. That would also like align with this, like going from a more serious place in life to a maybe a more easygoing, playful, as I said, position where, yeah, it just feels easier. It feels maybe purer or more authentic even. But as I said, it could be like a feeling that like this position is not something you take overnight. There could have been steps towards it, you know, aligning with something that is actually quite pure or very raw or innocent in you. But seeing it, like really seeing what it is, understanding what it is, maybe even identifying with it, like saying that we know that some people do this, they identify as a fairy, or they identify more as a mermaid than they do a human. You know, like if they think about it, it's like they like the water and being in the water as a mermaid much more than they like being a human. So it says trust your innocence, so it could be like a childlike, you know, idea that you had, that when you were a child you are identified as Tinkerbell, for instance, right? If you were a woman or a girl, that you were Tinkerbell. And that identity, maybe, you know, in adult life, that would not be accepted, perhaps. Maybe in creative circles, like I don't know if you have seen those programs that talk. It's about makeup artists. What is it? I don't recall. It's something. It's a competition, right, where makeup artists come in and they're competing about this winning the competition and special rights to assist or do makeup with certain very famous designers or photographers or something like that. But these makeup artists, they have like real creative talent, and they can do that. Like they can transform a person into something quite different. They can make a reptile out of you, or they can make an earthquake. They can design your entire, redesign your entire face, you know, things like that. It's like so if you identified as or you liked Tinkerbell very much as a child, you liked her adventures, the way she looked, the way she did, the way she dressed, her little wings, you know, a bit. Well, if this was Tinkerbell, right, or if this was well, here's an angel, right? But you know, we could even go to this idea of, you know, there has been this movie, what is it called? Frost. It's called Frost. The Frost film, the Disney Frost film. There are these princesses also, right, that have been very, well, I guess among small girls, they have been quite popular, right? So this entire frost environment, sometimes when I see this bluish and very white, it looks, It could look a bit like glitter and snow and like a very clear frosty day, right? So you see, it could be anything here. Something. So let's say your innocence would have liked you to be one of the girls in the Frost film. That would be this idea, right? It could be any other fairy tale or any other kind of, as I say, Superman or hero or something. But it's something that can, as again, you can try it on. You can think about it, you can visualize it, you can even draw it or have a picture of it. You could put Superman on your, on your wall. And then if you think that you should be him, right? How does that make you feel? Is that aligned or not aligned? And if it's not aligned, why not? Like one of the things that characterizes this usually is that this other thing that you're talking about is not human. It could be, of course. But Superman is not really human. Like, he is extraordinary. He can fly and he has these superpowers. Batman as well. Tinkerbell has a very, her character is that as well. Fairy-like small. She has magic. She can fly, Peter Pan. Usually there are certain characteristics with these special characters that are not like normal human beings. Some of them are immortal. Like an archangel here would be an immortal, as opposed to a human who is mortal. Like the human identity is always mortal, whereas an angel may not be, right? He could be something else. So you see, like, if we try on something that is very, very different than the human experience that we are in, it usually, as I said, it feels like it's too far away, but it could be fun just to try it out just for a few hours to see how it feels. Or what if I could fly? What if I was this? I know it sounds, it's just a game, right? And it may seem silly, but I think we could learn something. Like, you could learn something about your boundaries, something about what feels like it could be actually attainable. You could actually manifest this in your life. It doesn't seem like it's too far away from you. You could have maybe this apartment instead of where you live now. You could manage to get this kind of job. You could maybe, but you could also put on a suit or just imagine something that seems like it's way too far away from you. Because this human experience that we have is, it's strong. Like, it fills up everything in your life. So if you should imagine you were immortal and you would be an angel, maybe that seems like it's too far away from your current experience. But you could still play around with it. Like, you could still, what if I was immortal? Like, how would that change my life? What would I do then? Like, I couldn't get sick, I wouldn't die, I could just fly away, how would that somehow change things for you? You see? And it could be anything, as I said, mermaid, cowboy. Maybe this is, like you've always been like into the princess idea of beauty makeup and being a fashionista makeup YouTuber, right? Okay, then you could try it on by looking at some of those who do have a channel, and you could mimic it, like you could do some of the same things. You put the camera up, you make a video of yourself making some kind of makeup, where you are instructing or you're showing products or something. So you're trying it on, you're trying it on just for a moment, and you can have a look at your video after, and you can see if you think like that is a thing for you, like that you could see yourself being this, becoming it, owning it, like taking it in as a part of your integrity. This is me, this is what I do, I am this, I identify as this. But again, if it's too far away, then sometimes it either takes certain steps towards it, where you are slowly but surely adapting to the puzzle pieces. Because if you take on at like a too big of a step, what happens is usually that along the way we dismiss it, we give up. Because it doesn't come in as quickly as you may prefer, right? There's a divine timing with a wish for something else or manifesting something else. As I said, I am a millionaire. If you barely can like pay your bills right now, I am a millionaire is maybe, a bit far away. Like it may seem like it's a very big step. So there could be steps towards it. It could be something like, I have $100,000 in my bank account. Like that would be maybe more, still, a big step perhaps, but it would be better perhaps than $1 million. Like just, I feel like just, again, it's just playing around. You can play around with this. You can test it, and you can see how you are reacting, how your body is reacting, what your mind is thinking. Become that witness of how you react to certain maybe impossible dreams, or so-called impossible dreams. Just play around with it, and I get this feeling of like, oh, affirmations, that's an interesting thing. Maybe I want to play around with, I want to test it, I want to play around with it. I want to make some of these affirmations. I want to put on different, as I said, outfits, try it on. I will be the witness where I feel awfully wrong, or I feel that this is not at all me. But I may also find comfort or like safety or even identity in other outfits, where I feel like, yeah, this is more me. This is more like me. I like this. This feels exciting or fun. But being this cowboy, it's not that really. It's not me, right? I don't even see a point of trying. But the mermaid, like the mermaid idea, is actually something I do like, perhaps, right? Then you are playing in that world. Then you are in this water world where you are trying to figure out more, perhaps, about you, and trusting this innocent version of you to guide you, perhaps, right? To guide you. So if, like, you can narrow it in, perhaps, like, let's say you have 10 different costumes that you somehow like, or ideas that you somehow like. Um, and by having 10, you also have discarded 70 others. You're not the cowboy, you know. You are not the you're not Dracula, you know. You're not. Maybe you're into this very feminine place of fairies or mermaids, or you know, it's that kind of vibe to it. So you, again, like, then you could try this out. You could put, I don't know, wear something particular that identifies with a more feminine style, perhaps the red nails, as I said, or something like that. A specific wig, maybe orange hair, long orange hair, or whatever it could be for you. But trying it on bit by bit, maybe at home in front of your mirror, seeing, does this look like, can I identify with that? Is that me somehow? And then trusting that eventually, when you actually narrow it down and you're looking at Tinkerbell and you put this outfit on, it's just like, yeah, there she is. This is me, right? This feels right. So there is a part of me that wants to be Tinkerbell. And then what is it that Tinkerbell is? What can she do? What kind of friend is she? What is she doing? What is she occupied by? What is her work, you know? And there's some, because there has been something very special about her since you were drawn to her. You could have chosen the Little Mermaid. You could have chosen Pocahontas, right? You could have chosen other kinds of fairy tale or Disney figures. But it was Tinkerbell. Why was it Tinkerbell? What is it about her that is special? Then you know, you get to know something about yourself. You're witnessing something. Okay. But I feel like there is this rather playful idea. Okay, let's I go along. Even though this sounds crazy, I go along. I try all these outfits on in this costume shop, and I witness what goes on inside of me, right? I witness what goes on. Whether I like it, I don't like it, a part of it maybe, but this still doesn't feel right, you know? But then if you can narrow it down to 10, you have something. There's something in common between those 10. There's something there that is, maybe the common thread is that it's all feminine. Right? I don't know. Maybe it's a warrior thing, right? Maybe it's about fighting. They are all very supernatural. It's Batman, Superman, Iron Man, you know, all these characters who are they are humanoid-like, but they have these special features of flying, or like Spider-Man, or they have all these, they have tools, they have ways that are extraordinary. And they have this hero-like, rescuing humanity kind of theme to it. Then you will know something about yourself. Okay, so at the bottom here, for this one, I have financial constraint here. This is what I feel like there could be, again, with the stepping through here, it could be this feeling of like coming from a place of financial constraint into something very glittery. You know, like from struggling to pay your bills to become the millionaire, or someone in the spotlight that glitters, you know. that is almost like an otherworldly experience from a very poor, threatened place to a, like now suddenly just standing there with no fears or no, no fears, no struggles, strong and vibrant and no struggles. That would be a stepping through, like from one very particular scenario here into like the utter opposite. I think that coming from here to here would take steps. Like that would have been a journey where you have been taking steps towards something. I don't know if it's a big one or quick one. I'm just saying that normally financial constraints is because there is a certain mindset here. There is a certain mindset that comes with this. A lack mentality. And you have to surpass that. Like get out of that way of thinking, to make new choices, and to become very glittery, as I said, like becoming famous. That could be like being, you could say, a nobody here, doing a 9-to-5 job, becoming famous, right? That is like a big change. Wanting to step through from one experience to another, bang, into this beautiful flower here, or again a fashionista or something, becoming very famous and glittery. I get almost like, what is he called? Marilyn Monroe from this, right? From being, what was it about her actually, Marilyn Monroe? Was she raised in a monastery? Or was that Madonna? But either way, it's kind of the same thing. Like from coming from a monastery, being an orphan and being raised there under very maybe more stricter ways of living, and then turning into Madonna, having this glittery big life, so, and it means that you are changing personality or you're changing persona in some way. So from one position into something else. And I think it's like, it could be that you are coming from these places. You come from this way of feeling. You want to step through. You want to have a new experience. You want to walk away from this and turning it into something else. Switching it into something else. So figure, again, as I say, maybe you have seen The Secret. You are working with like laws of awareness, laws of creation, these laws of attraction, whatever. You are kind of juggling with some of this and trying to like align yourself with a frequency that allows you to, I feel like shine or something here. Like you are moving from one way of understanding the world and experience here into something else. Or you are playing with it, playing with the idea of it. Allowing something, like you are allowing for something to be tested or played with or examined or experienced. So now a card up here perhaps. So again, if we are saying that here you are a normal human, but here you are a supernatural being, right? A supernatural being wouldn't care about financial constraints if it has eternal life or eternal supply. It wouldn't care about it. It wouldn't think about financial constraints. it would just be, it would just be, and not think about like things like this. It could be the feeling that you're not, like, whatever has been going on here, you are above this. Meaning that, like, this could be someone handling it for you. Like, you could have employees now handling your budget or something like that, right? It's like that you're not concerned about whatever this is. Moving from this to this means that like you're thinking about something quite different. This could be like a spiritual experience also, that you are from a very, maybe a very human experience, like being very concerned about money, working a lot, paying your bills, but you're thinking about it daily, you almost dream about it, to becoming utterly not caring. And to be able to shift from that to this, that feels almost otherworldly. Like, it feels like but how do you do that? Like, how do you not think about this? It's like transcending something. Transcending an experience here to having a totally different one. Seeing things in a totally different light. Not caring, or like, I use all my time on spirituality. Perhaps I don't care about these like earthly money matters. Like, it's not in my awareness. I don't think about it, which is not normal, like most people do, right? So up here I have an Ace of Raphael, and this is so interesting because this card has really gone through a big journey here. It says a positive new emotional experience, fulfilling romantic relationship, and deep and lasting spiritual insights. Again, I get the feeling of like insights from this card. It's quite, well, he's not that white, but you get my point of this. Like, it's like it reference to a new experience, a playing around with new experiences of I get like a feeling of someone who has maybe you've read something, or you want to test something, like an experiment. Like, if I change my entire thinking, if I manage to change my entire thinking away from something like this, from lack mentality, am I going to have a totally different life experience then? If I can move from this to this, like a very high frequency spiritual level, or fame, I would say, with this glittery thing going on, is that possible? Like, can I literally transcend from one experience to another? As I said early on, maybe, I don't know, maybe this has been going on for years here, right? And maybe you tried on an outfit 5 years ago, and you are saying to yourself, this is who I am. So this is for now, I'm working. Everything I'm going to do, every step I take from now on, it's going to support this. It's going to support how I feel when I wear this. And then you have done your steps. Like, 5 years has gone on, and you have been moving, like, you have stepped through again and again and again and again, and now you are here. You have a totally new emotional experience. Life feels very different, fulfilling romantic relationships, deep and lasting spiritual insights. it's like you stand in a totally different life, or a different, like, a different experience. He has wings also here. It feels maybe like you have transformed, or you could transform into, as I said, this costume this Tinkerbell costume you were wearing 5 years ago. It could be that this is what you are trying to do now. That now you are trying on this special costume. And it's just like it resonates somehow. There's something about it that you like. And you're saying to yourself, okay, this is me. So maybe the world doesn't know it yet, right? The world doesn't know it. My friends, my family don't know it yet. But I'm going to show them. I'm going to, like, change my life around and become this version of me. So I do some steps, right, towards it. I'm making steps towards it. And then eventually I'm going to show up with this costume. I will be Superman, or I am going to, whatever this is. Like you want to realize a potential or something in you, perhaps. And it's like a change. There's definitely something you must step through or overcome or transcend or something here. So for the Ace of Raphael here, I get the Chariot as a driver. So the Chariot is usually, and actually it says Archangel Metatron here. So maybe you're working with Metatron. He's here as well. Twice Archangel Metatron here. Very interesting. Metatron is one of those angels. That's at least what I know about him, that it's said that he has wandered the earth, like he has been here as an archangel. Not all archangels have walked the earth, but he has. So he has earthly experience here, is an archangel now, and he stands in this very glittery, like you could see here how he glitters, right? The Chariot is about taking action, but taking the driver's seat, like you become the driver of your life. So this is like taking your power back, deciding on a path, and then going towards it. It says here, determination and self-control, career advancement, and acknowledgement of success by others. And this is in the driver position. I have pink here, and then I have this brown position in the root placement. So these are very spiritual guidances. The like pink, purple and blue and red here. It all mixes down to purple, and so a very spiritually guided process of stepping through something towards some kind of success, career advancement, acknowledgement of success by others, determination and self-control. It's like when you decide on a goal, you could say, something you want to achieve in this life, you can start to make the steps towards it. Right? You can, as I said, it's like when you have decided on this figure. Like if you can paint a picture of who this is, this costume or this personality or something. I don't think that, I'm not sure that Madonna, when she was in the monastery as a very young girl, that she knew that she would become that famous, that she would become this superstar, that she would, like transform her entire life from a very, again, monastery nun-like. There are certain rules and things here. And then she became this extremely expressive singer with all kinds of outfits, where she was testing herself and the world and what goes and what doesn't go and so on, right? She became very expressive in that way. I also don't think that Marilyn Monroe was aware that at some point she would become this icon, beauty icon. You know, I don't know why I get these two women, but there's something like that from one position to another, that we step through something. Now I get like a reference to I don't know if you've seen that series called The Witcher. It's something like Yennefer, this dark-haired, very mysterious, and I feel like very scorpionic mage. Like she goes through a process. She decides to go through a beauty process because she has this, her back is, well, in a sense, it may look well, I guess she considers herself as ugly. Like her jaw, she has like her back is like deformed, and she decides to undergo some kind of process with a warlock who can change her physical appearance. So there could be something about what we are willing to go through in order to get to a different place. I don't know, for some reason I get this feeling of almost like seeing yourself in a new version, or that you have gotten to this, that you have achieved this, and then it's like you're looking back at how it was once and what you were prepared to do, and how you put yourself in that driver's seat and you took action, or you bought the car, you moved to another state, you invested in something, whatever it took to get you to this point. Or that you are seeing it from this perspective and you want to get over here, and then you're seeing what it requires. That to get out of this, you may need to change your mind. You may need to open your mind up, think broader, think differently, allow new things to settle in. The stepping through that you would like, this change you want, that could be, it could be consume you. Like it could be everything you think about, and how it dictates your life, how it will be dictated. It will require something of you, determination. It says here, determination, self-control, becoming a leader, becoming someone who takes charge of their life, who decides to move forward in their way. Like the Chariot is about putting yourself in the driver's seat, take action, go towards what it is you want. If that becomes your focus, that you want a broader new life, you want open your mind and see new opportunities. You want to look like Tinkerbell, you want to have that, then this will be your journey. Maybe you have already achieved some of this, and you are having a look back like, oh my God, I had no awareness. If I knew that from this position I had to go through some of this to get over here, maybe I wouldn't even have started, I had no idea what it actually required. And if I had known, I would probably not have done it. But it could also be that this is about the steps I talked about, that if you take too big of a bite at once, you can you can suffocate yourself. So there's something about the steps that are maybe necessary to divide your progress into steps and allow for a certain amount of patience or divine timing for you to become brave enough and trust in yourself and get your act together and become determined about what your goal actually is, so that eventually you can have that new beginning. You can have this experience that I stand in this very positive new emotional experience. I am maybe free of something. I'm liberated of something, or I'm liberated of something here. I'm free. I don't know, again, the innocence part here. I feel so playful, perhaps. I feel playful. And I haven't felt like this since I was a child, right? And I am this because I stepped through. I allowed myself to dream, or I allowed myself to try on these different costumes. I liked one of them, and I liked to examine more, explore more, right? I went along with it, even just for play. I went along with it. And now I see that I have a totally new experience. It's a bit like, as I said, with this laughter therapy, it may seem like an inauthentic thing to do, to laugh if it's not real laughter. But again, it depends on that if we see laughter isolated only as something that authentically can happen if there's something to laugh off. There has to be a situation that is funny, embarrassing, a comedian, doing his act. There has to be created this special thing, otherwise I can't laugh. You see, then you are also dependent on it. What if you are not dependent on something to occur for you to laugh? That you laugh because you can. And that your body adapts to it. And then maybe at some point it's not even fake anymore. You have just exercised this muscle. You have allowed yourself to think outside of the box. You took a step towards something. Usually, if there's something you focus on, and this is something you want to find or have in your life, if it's on your mind, eventually it may get closer. If it's on your mind and you take steps towards it, then eventually I guess it would manifest itself. But again, you can, as long as you want something, as long as you want it, Like this is what I want. Take the angel here, right? Sorry, him here. So this is what I want. Okay, it's over there and I'm here. As long as I want something that is over there, I will keep having distance to it. That's why we like affirmations like I have or I am are strong, because it draws them closer. I have him here. He's here with me. He's right here. Right? I am this. I am Tinkerbell. Or I am Peter Pan. I am Superman. I am this hero. Or I am this Olympic gold medal winner. I am this. I am it. Not that I want it, because if I want it, it's still out there. So I will pursue something that keeps having a distance to me. Every time I pursue it, it just walks away. That's why these affirmations are considered powerful, because when you say it's here, it's with me, I have integrated it in me, it's a part of me, I own this, I am this. This is me, I am this Olympic gold medal swimming winner here. Then it's like you have integrated or identified with already being it. Even if it's like, as I said, it may still feel like it's out there. Or it's far away from you. So every time you start something, it could be because financial constraints. Well, it seems like there could be an economical thing here. But it could be anything. You could have had this wish from being a child. You wanted to become like as I said, an Olympic athlete. Or you have played the fiddle since you were 4 years old. And you wanted perhaps to become like this very famous concert violin player, right? A very famous one. And you did everything you could to step through and take leadership and practice and, do everything you could to finally get to the success. So you get away from the constraint. You move from one, you could say, social layer or level in society to a different one. Right? I don't know if this is about success for you. It could be plain happiness we talk about here. This card talks about a positive new emotional experience, like positivity, happiness, joy, laughter perhaps with the innocent card, playfulness, like an entirely new world opening up for you, especially if you have been living in lack mentality here. Like having a life experience that is fun and playful, and like you don't even give it, like you never think about this. Like you're never concerned. There's no concern over here. It's just fun and playful and lighthearted and easygoing and fulfilling. It's nice, it's pleasant, it's romantic perhaps, it's easygoing and fun and playful and you laugh about the life. You breathe in the beautiful sunshine and relax and enjoy your life. Where over here you probably work your ass off. Sorry. You probably work a lot, right? And still your home looks like this, or still you feel like you can't decorate, or still you feel like there's no glitter here, right? So to step through that, to change from one to another, It takes a sense of determination here, a choice to go somewhere. I feel also that, like, to have a positive new emotional experience, a playfulness, laughter, easygoing, can be a choice. Like, that could be your vision. I want more fun in my life. I want more happiness in my life. I play around with these affirmations. I choose to, like, see what happens. I want to go about this in a playful way. I want to see what happens if I allow myself to think in a different way, to expand my vision here, to open up to new possibilities. Sometimes people who live from this place, they feel limited, like they feel that there's no other way. There is only 9 to 5 job. There are no other ways. I don't have the education, or I don't have money to educate myself. I barely get by. I am in this hamster wheel race. I can't get out. Here you expand your mind and think, but what if I could get out? What if I could be Mr. Millionaire here? So playing around with ideas, maybe if you are into affirmations, laws of things like that, you may be able to have this feeling that this has arrived. Or maybe this is the new, like the new costume that you have decided on pursuing or trying to embody, trying to get or embrace this identity, that you want to embrace it. So that could be this over here. And then you are standing in front of this idea that, okay, I probably have to do something. Staying the same and expecting new is not going to happen. Something must be done here about this, to have something new, to have a new experience. But I get this, like, almost like juggling, just throwing it into the air and then see what happens. And just being very childlike or playful with it, like, I want to play around with this. Let's see what can give me a positive emotional feeling. Even if it's silly or childish or whatever, I don't care. If it means something to me, if it makes me happy, if it makes me smile, I'm doing it. I put on these, like, ridiculously high-heeled shoes. I wear 2 different ones. I am like, what is she called? She called Pippi Longstocking or something. I don't know if you know her, but this is this orphan girl, a Swedish cartoon figure, and she lives alone. She has no mother. Her father is like this pirate, away from her, sailing somewhere on the other side of the globe. So she lives alone with her horse and her monkey, and because nobody is really raising her, like, she gets no influence from parents in how to, like, live her life. She lives her life in a very different way, a more wild way, you could say, than normal children do, because normal children have had the influence of their parents. So when you're dealing with Pippi, she comes across as ridiculous, or she comes across as too much. She's too much, or maybe too little. She can't, like, she's not, like, designed to fit into school, or she's very strong-willed. She believes she can do anything. There's no limitation in her awareness, like she has a very, I actually feel like Pippi could be a bit like this. Like she wouldn't, she's not, there are no brakes on her. Like she doesn't see herself as limited by anything. She doesn't know what it is. Like this idea of sitting and sitting nicely, eating nicely at a dinner table, she doesn't know that. She has no awareness of that. She bathes when she wants to. She sleeps with the feet on the pillow. Also reversed than maybe many other children do, and adults for that matter. She's very strong. She can lift her pony or her horse because nobody told her that she can't. Because of these non-limitations, or because of this free and understanding, she doesn't know her own limitation, human limitation. Right? And she's not accepting that because an adult is telling her to do things in a certain manner, she's not accepting it as something she's supposed to comply to. In that way, she can seem like this somewhat wild child that is difficult to design, you could say. She's difficult to manage. From an outside perspective, from an outside adult or parent perspective, she looks like a very disturbed child. Like she has no manners, no rules. She is she is everything that the parents don't want their own children to be. She doesn't comply. She doesn't fit in. She has her own rules and her own agendas. So you see, that's also a bit of what this could be, that maybe this is about freeing yourself from certain limitations, certain ways of seeing yourself, and this all complying thing. Like maybe you want a different kind of life here. You want, well, if we talk about financial constraints here, well, financial constraints is also about what it is that you think you want to buy for this money. So what are you attached to? Are you attached to a certain home that is placed in a certain city with a certain tax system and certain mortgages? Do you have an expensive car? Are you attached to that? Are you attached to a fashion style that requires a lot of money? What if you just took all of this and just threw it away and started all over? And started all over from the position, I just want to be free. I just want to be happy. I don't want these financial constraints. I want a different life. I want an easier life. So how do I get that? How do I get that? How do I get from maybe this vision that I had, or this version of me? How do I get from where I am now to that? And there, again, as I said, there are probably steps. And sometimes steps where maybe we don't like the steps, because it's asking us to sell everything you have, or move to a cheaper place, or, make up your mind what is actually important in your home. Like, do you want to pay for all this stuff? Are you attached to it? Is it important? So it's going to, challenge everything. Are you willing to go through the changes that this requires to have this? But because this is in the current position, and these are more like drivers, I actually feel like someone is here. Like they stand here now. They're here. And there could be this feeling of like looking back, right? Almost like, yeah, I did actually come from here. I did choose to figure out how to get out. I may not have known how to. At some point, I had to take control and listen to the guidance that I was given. This is, again, a crown, in the crown position, but also purple represents the crown chakra. The Chariot is a Cancer card. It means that it's ruled by intuition. It's ruled by maybe spiritual guidance, intuition, like an instinct more than intellect, gut feeling, trusting something that is different than what you have learned in school, you know. And then putting yourself in this driver's seat and just trusting that, okay, I go along with it. I trust this. I decide to trust it. So I go along with it and I see where it takes me. And then it's like it may have taken you somewhere very different. Like now you stand in a totally different position. And again, if you have very positive new feelings here, beautiful, like that would be quite an achievement, right, in this world sometimes. Like especially if you come from this place, then it's like having a transformation, a big transformation that allows you to like just embrace the world in a totally different way. As I said, if this is about success, that you somehow have success in some way, you have a breakthrough, you get to like the goals, like the station, or this goal that you have been looking for. You now embody this persona or this identity here. Then you could say you have reached a goal. You have opened a door. You have managed to maybe attain the impossible, like from this to this, right? Like you may have done something that is very, very remarkable. Maybe it's only like maybe only you know about this. Maybe only you feel this. But it's a change, a big one, I think. Like from this to this, like that could be, you know, overnight success or suddenly glittering, you know, like suddenly you feel so different inside. Like there is something very, very special happening inside you that just lures you into like trusting your innocence here. Trusting your innocence would also be trusting that intuition, this gut feeling, this instinct, like this nudge in your body to start dancing, you know. You just have this feeling. It could be a feeling. This could be a feeling. You just trust this feeling, perhaps, and you just start, you know, like dancing, you know, and that is now allowing you to have this, like it allows you to move differently, feel differently, breathe differently, perhaps, or it's just like the world is much more exciting. I would say with this in this position, it could feel like an awakening. Like from this position to this, like this could feel like something is almost in your room with you. Something is, you know, like it just pokes at you and then something happens, or something opens up suddenly. like a spontaneous awakening, that third eye awakening or opening, a spontaneous third eye opening that just suddenly shows something very special for you here. And it opens up in a way where you just have to trust that innocence. You just have to trust this gut feeling that if you can get the feeling of you want to dance or you want to sing or you want to laugh or you want to, make stupid jumps or something, just do it, I feel like. Just do it. Just go along with it. The mature person in us can sometimes stop this and, oh, this is stupid. No, I don't want to do this. But I think you should just go along with it, play with it, see what it wants. How does it make you feel? Yeah. Can I get one more card on this? Trust your innocence here. So I get the Six of Earth here as a one more card. And there was actually another one showing itself here. Right underneath it, it says transformation here. The Six of Earth would be something like, it's about balance. It's about equal give and take. It's about... and I feel like trust your innocence, it comes a bit across like, if you trust your innocence, you are actually balancing yourself out. Like you are going to have a balance. It's going to create a balance in your life. That if you trust this innocence or this playfulness or goofiness or silliness or something, and you just go along with it, it's going to provide a special feeling here for you. And I've talked about this card before. If you don't know about it, I made a Virgo reading a while back where this card was almost destroyed. So let's say you've had like really problems with getting in tune with positive emotions. That your life has been much like this, very serious, very to the point. It's hard work. Money doesn't grow on trees. It's serious business to be here, right? That there is no fun. There is no positivity. There is no romance. There is no, beautiful spiritual understandings. There is no light. There is only the same kind of darkness. There's only the same kind of work. There's only the same kind of chores. It could be difficult to have a more, maybe a more relaxed life, or the feeling of like just, that kind of feeling. That if you trust this innocence here that you have, that it's going to balance out a life that could have felt a bit like you were starving. Like I see sometimes this one, I see him like he is a bit, like he's starving. Like you can see his cranium under the skin, like he is a bit undernourished, you could say. So I feel like this inner child of you actually has something to offer. It has something to offer you that may seem silly and, of no certain value or no long-term value. Maybe it's just a victory dance right now. You're just doing this little victory dance for yourself. Yoo-hoo, way, yeah, right. And it has no long-term effect, but still it provides something for you here, I think. that is leveling out everything. Like it's going to balance out your life in a way that it may surprise you how it can actually feed you, I want to say, or nurture you. And again, I had this card of transformation here, so I feel like it's a part of your transformation to go through or realize this, that the seriousness or this, like this, serious, very adult, I almost want to say, very serious adult ways of thinking, well, they may help you in one way, but it starves you in another. And I think that you could be someone that actually would thrive more on the innocent thoughts, of the more childlike thoughts, than the adult thoughts. It seems like you're starving there, right? That you need adventure, as I said, you need fun, you need to play or play with the idea of something, costumes, or like tap into this whole childlike world where everything is possible, where you have the princess living in the big castle, right? You have and this is everyday life for children. Like the Superman heroes, right? It's not like that world has something very particular to offer, I think. The pretending world where everything is possible. You can create anything in here. The unicorns, we don't see them in the adult world. In the adult world, they don't exist. So if we primarily live in the adult world, it's a limitation. We're not allowing this other world to exist simultaneously, because it may seem like it's just fantasy. We can't really, it can never be transformed into something real in the adult world. But maybe it's not supposed to. Maybe it's an addition to the life you have, an addition that equals everything out. So maybe you love to play with Play-Doh. I don't know what it is. It's just doing it offers you something. Like all the adult plans to somehow figure out how to get your money constraints done. Maybe you should just sit with the colored beads and make your like a beautiful like beads picture, or a little medallion or something. Like you figure that out, what it is that you want to do, or paint or sing or dance, or usually children move. Like they like to move, they like to dance. Even like if you put on I have been a kindergarten teacher, right? So I know a lot about how you can actually get children to, like in a very positive way, make them move. Like you just put on music, they start dancing. Even if they are just like 1 year old, they will do something. They like music. They like to just wiggle around their body. That could also be what this is. Just wiggle your body. Just it doesn't matter how sexy it looks, or that it has to come across in a certain way. It doesn't matter. It's a free expression. And I think there's something about that here that I feel like it can add something to your life that balances out everything. Where you feel starved in one area, it's going to feed something. In another area, you can be actually having quite a lot of, you could have abundance here. and you could be starving in another area. That's another thing to figure out. What nurtures you? What feeds you? What is where do you find that your batteries are rejuvenated or recharged? Like being very, being very much, being in an environment or in conversation with something here, could drain your energy, whereas over here it could recharge your energy. As I said, maybe you move from like a very corporate business life and you become a kindergarten teacher. And suddenly you just figure out being around these children, like these goofy, silly, playful, beautiful small minds here, that how beautiful they are and how innocent they are, and they just try it out. Like they just give it a go, right? And how brave they are and everything. You may see them as it may like inspire you in a totally different way than this very corporate, very adult, a very mature world, right? Where only certain things are possible. There are rules and regulations here, where in the child department, there are no rules. Like an elephant can easily be blue and have green stripes. And it can fly. And, there's no problem with that. In that world, everything is possible. But in what we call reality, in the corporate reality world, which is quite masculine, there are only certain things possible here. And I think it starves you, whoever I'm talking to, it starves you to be primarily there. Like you need to have some of this other, where everything is possible. It's going to equal out something in your life, I think. If you trust it. Again, it says trust your innocence. Like in the center of the reading. Trust your innocence. Because it can add something very specific to your life. Even though it may seem silly, even though it may seem goofy. It could be a good laugh. It could be something you're doing that is just a good laugh. But still, having a good laugh is actually very beautiful, isn't it? It creates a sense of optimism and freedom and like an easy feeling in the body. Where this feels more like a dreading, like a heavy burden or something. So this is something that can come into, like lift the mood a bit, right? Therefore you should trust it, even though it seems silly or it seems inconvenient even, or it seems like, oh no, this is just embarrassing, I don't want to do this, or you should do it anyway. And if you have kids, they probably will love it, right? You should go through your all your wardrobe, and then you put the most, like, you take out every trousers and dresses and everything, and you combine the most, what is considered from an adult perspective, the most ugly outfit. And you wear it, right? You walk around in your living room with it, and you just laugh at yourself because it's just so awkward and so But that's what children would do, right? They would wear mom's high heels and and like a weird hat or something. They would do it just for the fun of it, to try it out. As I said, like wearing a different suit, being a different persona for a bit. Maybe trying to be mom or maybe trying to be dad for a while, but they're just trying it out. It's just for fun. Or as I said, you go to a costume shop and you try all kinds of different outfits. Just for the fun of it and how it makes you feel. Yeah, that's what I feel like I have here for Sagittarius. Beautiful reading. Just trust your innocence. Trust this little beautiful child in you, or like an inner child feeling. Just trust that it can bring something. It can add, I feel like, it adds something to your life that you may have never thought how big of a difference that could be. Be Pippi Longstocking here. Maybe be like her for a while. Wear different pairs of socks and, like challenge the conformity of reality, the rules, what goes together and what doesn't go together. Maybe challenge your own beliefs about that. What food goes together. Maybe try to build the most ridiculous burger, right? And you put all kinds of food in it. I remember when I was a child, I was playing with some of like a cousin of mine, and when we were together, when we like, let's say a family birthday or something, and the grown-ups, they were all in the living room debating and talking about adult stuff. So we went into the kitchen and there were different kinds of like sodas there, club sodas, and we were mixing them, and then we put in a bit of coughing liquid thing, and we put in a bit of soy, and then we put in it's like it was supposed to be some kind of drink, like a soft drink or long drink, or what it's called. But we just took everything from the refrigerator, right? And we just a bit of milk, and it looked awful and it tasted awful and everything. But it was just the fun of it. It was just this weird but also fun experience. And then we would test it on each other. Like, I would make a drink and someone else was tasting it and giving it points, or something like that. It was, and of course, like, these drinks couldn't be used for anything. It was waste. We just threw them out. We had to, like, they were tasting awfully, but we did it anyway, just for the fun of it, for the color, for the mixing, to see what happened, how the taste would change, and it was just a foolish game, you could say, but it was fun. Like, for a while it was fun. We did that, right? And that's what I feel like. Maybe also, you could have board games, right? Now I think about like my son. He's 19. He has a dart board in his room, and it was actually a quite expensive one, and the darts that he's throwing were also quite expensive. We wanted it to be like a good experience to play dart. It should not be, that where they fall off the board. They don't sit when you throw them. They don't stay, they fall off. That just gives a very irritating experience with dart, right? So it was a rather expensive board, the darts also, and he enjoys using it with the regular rules. But then sometimes he has a friend over, and now they expand the rules. So they could put a chocolate in the middle of the chart, and then they try to see if they can hit it, right? Or they had a drawing of a person, like a head and a bowel or a stomach, and then legs and arms. And if you were hitting the head, you got certain points, and if you were hitting the arms, you got other points, and so on. And it was just, like to play with it. It was still dart, but it was just to like change it a little bit. And that could also be what this is, that you just change the rules a little bit. As I said, you can take out, let's say you take out a board game like chess. And chess is normally played with very certain rules. But now you may decide you are going to use it differently. So maybe you give, these different board pieces different qualities. So the king can do differently, the queen can do different, the horse, the tower, the pawns, you can give them new qualities, and it changes the way you play the game. Just for the fun of it, like just to see what happens. Does it add value? Is it annoying? Is it frustrating? Do the old rules interfere? And so on. It's just for the fun of it, right? Just to see what happens. The same, with playing cards. Well, there are all kinds of things you can do with them. There are, of course, playing cards. You play different games with them. But you can also, build with them. You can you can use them in certain ways. Maybe you come up with a totally new game. Or if you shift just a few cards, you change the value of them, then it changes everything. I know I've done this when my boy was younger. There were some children's board games that we were, like Monopoly, for instance. Monopoly is a beautiful game, but sometimes it can be a very long game if you actually play by the real rules. It can take a very long time. It can take days. Again, maybe depending on how many players you are. But if you actually follow the rules, it can take a very long time. And for small children, the patience is not maybe for such a long game. So I remember I changed some of the rules when I was playing with him, just me and him, when he was younger, because his patience wouldn't stay that long. And he got frustrated if we didn't find a winner. Like if the game was not over somehow. He wanted it to have an end. And for it to have an end, I took some rules out. I changed the game because then it was more fun. And we could get to an end within his patience frame, you could say. And it would be a good experience. So, maybe you can have a better experience if you just change a few rules in your life. And you just give it a go. You change certain ways of how you're thinking. You allow something to be possible in your life. And because of that, it may be a totally different experience to be alive and breathe and exist and so on. Because you make that change. A change that you wouldn't have considered it here. It wouldn't have been possible. You wouldn't allowed yourself to think like that before, you know? So if you do that, it could be just few rules that you start with. Again, these steps I talk about, you start with a few rules and then you adapt to that. Then it doesn't feel that foreign anymore. And then you bring in another few rules or another new ways of thinking, and you adapt to that. Like you put a puzzle piece more to the mix and you adapt to that. Now it doesn't feel that foreign. And then you put another one, and so on. It's just important, I think, not to take too big of a bite. Like not to expect to be able to handle that big of a bite in one. Because you would just suffocate yourself. Like it would be too much of a responsibility or too big of a step. It would feel like too ambitious, perhaps. So allowing for smaller steps to count can be important here. Little is better than nothing. It will still help you equal out your feeling of balance here on earth, I think. Like balance in your life. Even if it's just for 5 minutes a day, it's still a step towards something. Maybe then it becomes 10 or it becomes 15 minutes. Maybe you have designed a totally new hobby in your life or a new game or something you're playing, and you are occupied in it in maybe 2 hours every day. So it becomes more normal or more like accepted. As I said, it doesn't feel foreign. Now it's become known. You relax with it. That's what I think every kind of change is about. That it feels foreign or strange and weird or even uncomfortable. But then the more you look at it, the more you try it, or the more you allow it to just be there, then eventually you accept it. You know, like you buy a new painting, you put it into your house and put it on the wall, right? You put it on the wall, and for the first period of time, well, it's kind of weird because it hasn't been there before. You may like the picture or the painting, but you know, you can still get startled if you walk by it at night, because suddenly you realize, oh yeah, there's this painting hanging there and it wasn't there before. But then eventually it's like it's always been there. You get a new car. You have to adjust yourself to the new setting, the new gearing, or like there are dots in different places or something. You have to adjust to the size of the car. Like you have to like get to know it, you could say, so that you can maneuver it. But then, you know, after a period of time, you're not even thinking about it. Like you have adjusted, right? It has not changed. It's still the same. But you have adjusted to it. So maybe this trusting that innocent of yours is just about adjusting to, or allowing yourself to have it in your life and adjust your mind to it. Adjust to the innocence. in you, that it does have value, that it can help you balance out your life, maybe even get healthier. Like this guy, usually he to me, he looks a bit starved or ill or something, right? And I just have this feeling that this could maybe like equal out something in your life that it may seem pointless, but it's actually adding something that may even help you with an illness perhaps. Yeah, that's what I feel like. I feel like that could be it. There is something about pretending to be something else than you may feel currently or recently. So like this could be a feeling that you're pretending to be something. Let's say you're pretending here to be rich and famous or something, but you are maybe not quite there yet. Then remember the affirmations that you have this already. It's already here. You are this. I am this. But it may feel like a pretense, but it's not a. As long as this is not, like disturbing for other people, as long as you are not hurting others, as long as you are not, ruining other people's night's sleep or something, then you could pretend anything here. And trust that it's going to add something. Even though if it's just 5 minutes of joy in your day, it would be better than none, wouldn't it? And even if it's very cheap, that it's not that you have bought yourself new fashion clothes. It could be that whatever you're doing here could be very cheap. Like it doesn't have to cost anything. Children, they don't have money. Like they play with stones or like sand or a bit of water or potato flour or something. They can it's very slimy but very cheap thing to mess with, and it doesn't cost much, right? Children don't have that money to go out and like they imagine stuff. They imagine things in their head, and it's cheap. Like it's a cheap way of thinking new or wondering about new. Like even if you don't know how to do this, I would say you could go to this costume store and just try these outfits on. Maybe you buy one, right? But you could try on 30 different kinds. And you could have quite a laugh with it. With strange mustaches or, hats or stupid glasses or something, right? The more stupid, the merrier. As long as it's just fun. It allows the world to have a different Well, now I get a picture of if you see children from like very poor countries, it's like they have nothing. how can they find a sense of meaning and fun and happiness in their life? They do. Like they play around with, like, as I said, a little stone, or they jump in the river. They find ways, small little ways. No matter how small they seem, they find it anyway to smile, right? You know, like they could make a little game of just walking around, pretending they're roosters, right? Walk, 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 whatever. It doesn't really matter. They are just pretending. Walking like a rooster, you know, like with the head like that. Like, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's just a pretense. It's just for fun. It's to lighten the mode, to lighten the way of thinking. Getting yourself out of a more denser, heavier way of thinking. That is the way. And I think that it can bring balance to your life in some way. Maybe you are very good at this. Maybe you could lighten the mode for someone else or be an inspiration for them, you know? Maybe you could do that. Maybe you have a very strong imagination and you're very good at, for instance, as I said, like adding these extra things to ordinary board games, for instance. Like you have these funny ways of turning everything around or upside down or something, right? And it brings in like just a sense of fun or smile just for a moment. Maybe you're a comedian. Like maybe you have a talent for being a comedian. Another thing can be to watch animals. Like animals can really be funny, goofy, small things to watch. All kinds of nature programs, or you know, like these funny dogs videos or something. Because they are just, you know, like funny little unaware beings that are just, they are also just trying out life. They are like the fool card. Like they just try it, right, and see what happens. Playing with the ball or teasing the dog mom or something. They see what happens. They play with each other, roll around, and sometimes they seem almost confused, but it's they play like children play. Like the child world and imagination is a very special place. Like it has like so much potential in there that we don't see in what we call reality, but there is something in there. And it's available. Like you can just decide to open a door and look in. Like you can still have your feet in reality, and then you can decide to like have a window in front of you and you're just opening it slowly and looking in. What is in there? Like what kind of orange elephants are flying around there? What are they doing in there? What would you like to be in there? What should be happening? Is it Narnia? What's in there? You know? You can decide. It's yours. Yeah, this is what I feel like I have, Sagittarius. I hope this helped somehow. This is actually an area where I feel like I have been struggling too. I still am struggling with this. My childhood didn't allow for much of this. I grew up in a very like reality, adult, masculine, controlled kind of environment. There wasn't much room for being childish, I would say, act childish. So I've been struggling with this. I may still do, like I'm still kind of struggling with this idea. Also the idea that it has purpose, that it actually helps, that it does have value, because I've learned that it didn't. So I get it if you feel a bit of a like, why do that? And I think it's because it can balance something. It can balance something out in your life. And taking you from a denser, heavier way of thinking, perhaps, ruled by loss and lack or lack mentality, to maybe a sense of an easier life, or a freer life, or a more easygoing life, a more worry-less life. That's what I feel like. So I hope this helped somehow. Take care of yourself out there, Sagittarius. I send you my very best. Love and light to you. Bye bye.